what else did I really like about this? I mean, one thing I kind of did like, speaking of like art and like the differences between like Western comics and manga. I um, think I appreciate a lot of like the lettering work that it's very dynamic and like it's quite different from your standard like word bubbles in a Western comic. You'll get some kind of unique things going on in comics, like Western comics, and the
Yeah.
lettering of it. I found that really entertaining in this story anyway. How like when a character's whispering, like it's very clear, like okay, this character's just whispering to themselves, or when they're thinking, or when they're um, shouting, or it's very dynamic, and like the changes of, and like each character kind of has like a different way of speaking sometimes.
Yeah,
I found.
and it reflects in the text,
Yes,
which is a
exactly.
really
Yeah.
cool little thing. It just adds just more characterization, and
Hmm.
I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah, no, because yeah, you're
Mhm.
right. American comics, you almost have to be shouting in order to get like big red bubble text or something.
Yes, yeah. Like it has to be okay, or this one's, they're swearing, and yeah, they've got, yeah, like you said, that red outline or something like that. Or sometimes, they will do the little whisper thing, and you could tell, okay, that character's whispering, but
Mhm.
it's not as dynamic as it was in this story, I found. So
For sure, for sure. Yeah, no,
mhm.
that's a good comparison. Is even the text a little more dynamic? Because I do think a lot of the manga anime art. If you don't like the style, I can understand, but I I do agree with you. I think it's a lot more dynamic. I think it
Mhm.
shows action a lot better, which is more what it was kind of made to do. But it,
Mm.
it shows expression and action. It's just so much more thorough than we
Yeah.
get in Western comics.
Yeah, and I don't mean to say that I don't like the art, because I certainly appreciate it. It's just
Oh
for
yeah, yeah,
me, I couldn't necessarily tell one artist from the other, kind of thing. Just kind of, like if I was looking at like, I shouldn't say that, because I do feel like this was a standout, but it's just obviously because I haven't read or
yeah,
observed as much manga artwork. But if I was saying like, okay, here's a John Romita Jr. cover of like Amazing Spider-Man, and then here's a Phil Noto cover on X-Men. Like I could you could kind of tell, right? But then if you
yeah,
just put like two manga covers in front of me,
yeah.
I'm
It's
like,
it's an
okay,
acquired taste.
it just kind of looks the same to me. But I'm sure there are differences. It's just hard for me to notice them right away.
For sure, for sure. And
Yeah.
I struggled with the same thing when I got into comics. I could tell that there
Okay.
was a difference, but now that
Yeah.
I've like now I can like go to the shelf and be like, oh, that's a Jim Bartel cover. Like, oh,
Right.
that's Alex Ross. Like, you
Right.
can, and then you can
Yeah.
appreciate kind of the subtle differences once you dig in a little deeper. So
Mhm.
yeah, I can relate to that
Yeah.
with
It's
the
definitely just what you come to first, then, right? Because you're saying you had a hard time with comics, seeing the difference at first, and then for me, it's like I can't tell the difference between two manga artists. But I do feel, like I said, like I did find this a little more dynamic, especially, yeah, those two striking forms between All Might, right? Like his two
yeah.
different forms. I'm like, that's his small non super powered form is quite different from what you'd see. I find in manga. So
Yeah,
yeah,
no, for sure. Yeah, and My Hero, especially, really through it, it does have its own art style. Like
yeah.
it's distinct from a lot of the other stuff. So, which is good. But I guess a lot of the stuff that I don't know I read, and I'm sure most Americans read, you are going to see the differences because we're really only getting like the cream of the crop manga
Oh yeah.
because
That's
they're not importing everything.
mm.
So, which I think that's funny in the kind of comparing manga and comics. Like we say, oh, well, all these manga stories are bangers, and it's like because we're only getting bangers. Like
Oh
that's all we get over
yeah,
here is the good stuff,
yeah.
more or less. There's some
Oh
flops, but
yeah. I
so
guess,
I don't
huh?
know, just interesting, little thing, but
Hmm. 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 Yeah, that's a really neat way of looking at it, isn't it? Yeah. Hmm.
so
Hmm.
but yeah, so we to kind of wrap up the rest of the volume. So he's
Mhm.
taken the entrance exam, he gets into UA, and then we kind of get to more like first day at school kind of thing, and you
Mhm.
get we meet Eraserhead, which is their classroom teacher. That's a superhero
Yeah.
name. And they do the whole ball throw thing, and they're like, "We're gonna kick one of you guys out, whoever gets the lowest score." Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
I think that's a cool thing. Shows a little development with Deku. Like, he doesn't have to use his whole arm to, he doesn't have to break all his arm. He can just put it all in a finger. So,
yeah, because I guess that's a little bit of it too. Is like he even before like the entrance exam, right? Like All Might's kind of training him to have his body be, able to withstand all of. So he gets him doing all of these like garbage cleanup.
Yeah, he cleans the beach.
Like, yeah, he cleans the beach, and it's just like this is how I'm training. And he's like, specifically not using his powers to do that part, right? Because it's like training his body to get ready for that. So I thought that was pretty neat. But yeah, then so he can like focus like a specific body.
Yeah, just get it, just because he has to learn how to use the power. So as we see with All Might, like it's the whole body, like it's the all over he gets to use it. And where Deku, he's just not used to it yet. So because he was a regular dude for 13, 14 years, and then so now I kind of have to figure, which is something that we get to see him evolve with through the series, is just better control of One for All, which is really cool. I love that about manga, in the sense that it's always a journey. Like it's always getting stronger and getting and that creep up with it. I like that a lot. So, and they do it really well with Deku.
Nice. Yeah.
And then I think it ends. I think the last